What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Watch Sports Media. Um, so let me do a little circle back on this game. Now, we've seen the Indiana Fever has played bad with Caitlin Clark, and they have played bad without Caitlin Clark. But the one thing it is, when Caitlin Clark is on the floor, her gravity changes a whole lot, whether she's playing well, whether she's not. And easy things happen for other players, as we've seen in the Seattle game. But for this game without Caitlin Clark, especially not having enough players on the court, the Fever seem to can't get it done. Now, they did play small ball early on. They got them the lead, but everything predicates down to the fourth quarter. When you going into the fourth quarter, that's when you need to tighten up everything a little bit better because teams usually change their lineup to run the fourth quarter all the way down. We've seen it in the Vegas game, and we have seen it in this game. You cannot play a small lineup against bigs down the stretch and hoping to get stops, and when you're getting out rebounded in the same sense. Now, Stephanie White took to the podium and she said, well, this team doesn't have the killer instinct. But for time and time again, Stephanie White has shown she's been getting out coached in the fourth quarter in multiple games. Even the games that she has won, they still got out coached. But the only difference is you always have Caitlin Clark to help with that. Now I did a preview video earlier talking about certain things, but I want you to listen to Stephanie White and what she had to say because to me, I feel like this team is a whole different fit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we haven't shown a killer instinct yet, and that's we have had a tendency to relax in those moments instead of, for lack of a better term, go for the kill, right? We've had empty possessions where we've been too lax with the basketball and have either taken poor shots or not valued every opportunity we have to score. We've had breakdowns on the defensive end of the floor. It's moments of mental lapses or mental relaxation that you can't have in this league.
Tonight specifically, they had 35 in just the fourth quarter. What did you see defensively break down in that period?
Lack of communication. We had a lot of people in gray areas. Lack of discipline to our coverages. We just lack of physicality. I think they scored 3 times in a row in the same play, and there was zero communication. And just like any good team, you go back to it, right? You continue to go back to it. Fouling, undisciplined fouling, all of those things that we have to be better at. I mean, that's something that we struggled with throughout the course of the season is just the undisciplined fouling and putting teams to the free throw line. And then we had empty possessions offensively. We weren't organized always, turning the ball over at critical moments, not getting high percentage, high quality shots, allowing their physicality to affect us.
You mentioned that sequence where they scored 3 times in the one play. Just how did that, Hamby getting the rebound, getting the foul, and Stevens getting the rebound, getting the foul, how did that kind of take the air out of you guys?
Well, those are 2 different things. The 3 times that they scored on the cross screen with Azurá Stevens was more about our execution to coverage. The offensive rebounds did, and part of that's on me. I should have had a big in there to make sure that we were rebounding on the free throw line. But just attention to detail, right? Making sure that we're pushing back. You can't just be in front of someone and try to jump up and get a rebound and expect to get a call. There's got to be a level of physicality that we have to box out. We have to push them back. If I remember correctly, I think Hamby's was off of a missed shot. We were in a rotation, and we got to be disciplined to finish plays.
Stephanie, you've been dealing with a lot of different lineup changes throughout the season. How do you maintain a certain level of consistency throughout all of that with, like you said, hard play and execution, things of that nature?
Well, with the injuries particularly, you can't really maintain a consistent rotation. So, it's just something that we're not necessarily always reinventing the wheel. But at the same time, when you've got such a ball dominant player like Caitlin, out of the game, who makes everybody's job a lot easier. Then you've got to you got to find ways to try to position them to get some easy ones, which means that our screen setting has to be elite. Our ability to keep spacing and be slow into and quick out of screening actions. The gaps close a lot quicker, so our decision making has to be better. And the ball's got to move. I felt like the ball got stuck. We held it a lot. We kept it on one side of the floor a lot. We didn't really make them work side to side defensively.
You mentioned that killer instinct. How much does that even go back to that second quarter? I think they went 9 minutes without scoring, and I think the lead was just like 4 at that point. And then to the other part, though, I think 11 first half steals. What did you like about the intensity on that end?
Yeah, I think after they punched us in the mouth, we responded defensively and we were able to get out in transition and get some easy buckets. We've got to continue to do that, and we don't always have to get offense from our defense, but it starts our break. It allows us to get out and to do what we want to do. Now, we don't run quite as much without Caitlin on the floor, but we still need to be able to and get out and get some easy ones. But yeah, I think that period where they went like 9 straight and we only scored 5 points. We've got to be able to take advantage right there. And sometimes it's not always taking the first shot. It's making sure we get the best shot. It's making the defense guard multiple actions. I felt like during that stretch, we either turned it over or we took quick ones that were maybe contested ones. It's an area of growth for our team, and it has been. And we got to find a way to flip the switch and be able to approach every single possession for 40 minutes with an intention and with an intensity and sense of urgency.
You're up. All right, so I'm gonna stop it right there because it's like 4 minutes long, but I wanted to highlight certain things that Stephanie White has said. First, no killer instinct. Stop taking quick shots. Get the best shot. And this is where Stephanie White, as the head coach, she needs to be a little bit tougher on certain players on the squad, especially when it comes down to Kelsey Mitchell. She should never be the primary ball handler on this team when you got Sydney Colson on the floor. I don't care if people saying, well, let Ari start. That's fine. But still, Kelsey Mitchell, I don't care if Ari start or Sid Colson start, they need to be the primary ball handlers on this team. Kelsey Mitchell does not need to bring the ball up. Even when you have Sophie Cunningham, maybe on the floor, she's the other ball handler. But at the same time, there's times and times again, yeah, Kelsey Mitchell got hot. Yeah, she had a decent game. But there's times of lack of judgment. She can't make an entry pass. She can't make the basic pass. And then when she's in transition, you have wings wide open. She doesn't kick it to one of them to the corner for the easy shot and then go down and crash the board. She takes if she doesn't dribble all the way to the basket, she pulls up with a person on her, dribble, then pull up for a 3. She has such tunnel vision that it kills the momentum of a lot of teams. Yeah, she hits baskets here and there. That's fine and good. But at the end of the day, you have to continue to move the ball around. They did an excellent job in the first half, moving the ball around, getting the easy points, building the lead. But the problem is in the second half, they do not continue to lead. And this is where Stephanie White has to make the adjustment to where, hey, okay, we're not doing this well. We need to slow it down. We need to make sure we get the right opposition. Then they can't even get the ball into Aaliyah Boston. When Caitlin's on the floor, whether she's not shooting well or whatever's going on, she finds a way to get the ball to Leo Boston. She finds a way to get Leo Boston in the pick and roll situation. You don't have nobody on this team that can get the ball to Leo Boston. I'm gonna show you this first play, and this is by Natasha Howard and Kelsey Mitchell on the right side, and Kelsey's to the left and cannot make a pocket pass or don't have the patience to let Aaliyah win her battle with De'Erica Hamby. Take a look. Now, as you watch, Sid Colson comes in. She passes to Kelsey. Kelsey goes over. Tosh sets the screen. Then, if you look, Leo Boston is right there. All you had to do is wait till Leo Boston get in her position and try to bring a bounce pass into her. And normally, if you move out to the wing, Leo Boston is going to try to find you. But then this is what they do. You cannot you cannot go away from Aaliyah Boston at all, especially when she's winning a one-on-one matchup over a De'Erica Hamby. You got to get the ball to her. Sid Colson should be able to find the ball to her. Kelsey Mitchell doesn't have confidence enough in her own ability to pass. So that's why she doesn't pass the ball. Same thing with Natasha Howard. She can't pass the ball. Because if they not getting the ball down low and creating their own one-on-one shot, then guess what? You have to find ways to get Aaliyah Boston the ball. If you don't get Aaliyah Boston the ball, the team's just gonna collapse on her, and they're gonna force y'all to shoot outside shots. And whether you hit or miss is going to be that level difficult to agree. Now, in the next clip, Stephanie White said her offense wasn't moving side to side, wasn't making it hard to defend in action, ball sticking. Now watch how bad the ball sticks in this play. You see Kelsey Mitchell drives. She comes back out. She passes to Eric McDonald. Right then and there, Eric McDonald should have thrown the ball in to Aaliyah Boston, where Aaliyah Boston, or waited till Aaliyah Boston got it. So therefore, De'Erica Hamby fronts up. Aaliyah Boston gets the ball up to the top. She dribbles, and she forces a shot. Right then and there, Leah Boston should have kicked the ball back to Eric McDonald. She was open at the top of the key by herself. Allow Eric McDonald to get the ball, reset, probably dribble, penetrate, kick out to Mitchell, or allow Leah Boston to regather herself down low. When you force shots like that, that just makes it hard because you don't have nobody under the basket to get you rebounds. And another thing, this team already knew the situation with DeWanna Bonner, right? So why didn't they try to make an adjustment prior to that? They allowed themselves to continue to get in these sticky situations that is not helping the team. You going to need bodies. Now they do play the Dallas Wings tonight. Guess what's going to happen? To me, I don't even feel confident saying they're going to win this game. If they win, it's by a miracle. But they have to have bodies. They already down Caitlin. They don't have a DeWanna Bonner. Dante's gone. You can't play Bree Turner enough. You can't play Michaela Tipson enough because they're not tall enough. Now, yeah, you could probably play those smaller now in this game against Dallas, but still, you got to get points. You got to get stops. How you going to play Paige? You might slow Paige down throughout the game, but guess what? Down to the fourth quarter, she might explode too, just like Kelsey Plum did, just like Asia Wilson did. To me, I don't think Caitlin Clark is going to play tonight in this game. I don't think she's going to play tonight. The Indiana Fever needs to bring in somebody today. They cannot wait. They need to bring in a body, or unless they're going to wait till the Valkyries release some players for them and bring in, or try to get wait next week to bring in Emma Mearsman. But the way this team is constructed and playing, I wouldn't even want Emma Mearsman to come and play for this team, because this team is a disaster right now. And this team continues to struggle, continues to not find the ways to finish games down the stretch. You can have a big lead, but I guarantee you by the fourth quarter, the Indiana Fever will lose it. Stephanie White, to me, I feel like she don't want to ruffle the front office, but she need to go to them and say, look, Amber, we need bodies. We need efficient people that knows how to play the game of basketball, know how to move, know how to cut, know how to crash the ball, get rebound, hustle. Lexi Hall cannot be the only person getting 8 boards when you have Bree Turner that's taller than her, not even getting 1 or 2 or 3 rebounds, not even getting 5 rebounds while she's in the game. Lexi Hall had 11 boards last game, a double-double, and now she has, 8 or 9 this game. She can't be the one to get in this. She can't. She cannot be the one out hustling everybody. The thing about it is the Indiana Fever are in trouble, and they're in trouble bad. And I don't know what they're going to do. To me, they need to look to see who they could bring in, a bigger body. Natasha Howard's not going to get it. She's too small, too slow. Even with down the stretch, even if you have put her in, she's not going to out jump Ezra Stevens or De'Arica Hamlin for the board. And that's just that. They don't have enough length on the team to keep in front of a Kelsey Plum or whatever the case may be. Lexi Hall can't guard everybody. Sophie can't guard everybody. Leah Boston doing all she can do down low. Kelsey Mitchell's too short. Natasha Howard too slow. Bree Turner, just Bree Turner. Michaela Tipson, who knows? Leave your comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Fever don't have no killer instinct, no will, no guts. And it's going to take an act of miracle to see this team turn around. We was at this point last year, around All-Star. This team turned around, made the playoff. Well, we just have to wait and see, right? Because this is some pretty bad basketball with the Indiana Fever. And they have to get it together. This goes on coaching. This goes on the front office. This goes on the players and everything. They have to get it together. So, let me know what you think.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire. It's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it. So official, like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire. Sports and entertainment. Let's go.